picture of her. That's a still frame of her and doing an interview recapping her account of what happened. I'm sorry. Take the bonnet off. Take the bonnet off. Because of optics, it matters. For people who didn't hear me when I first started this live, I talked about how Ben Crump had to tell, he told Tamir Rice's mother. Tamir Rice said that Ben Crump told her, hey, when you do interviews, you can't talk a certain way because nobody's going to pay an angry black woman. See, that's because Ben Crump had wisdom enough to know that optics matter. The way that you present yourself to the public when you're trying to get justice in a court of law, the way that you present yourself, it matters. I would never do an interview with a bonnet on. I would never, because that's attributing to her like a certain type of image, an image that is associated with ghetto, with lazy, with all other kind of derogatory terms that you can think of. That is what that's associated with when you walk around with, again, I don't care how people walk around, bonnet, as long as you cover it, bonnet, pajamas. I don't, you know what I mean? Like I'm not, say like Monique, who did a video talk about complaining about black girls rocking bonnets and pajamas at the airport. I don't care. Let them wear whatever they want to wear. But I'm sorry. But when you are in a certain predicament, when you try, of course, when you go into an interview, of course you ain't gonna wear no bonnet to an interview. Then why would you wear? You're being interviewed. She's essentially being interviewed. You're being interviewed about what happened during this incident. You're interviewed. You're being interviewed. Why the hell do you have on a bonnet? Common sense that our people should have, that I fear we don't. That I fear we don't, and it's doing us in. It's doing us in. I hope that these officers get charged to the fullest extent. I hope that they get fired. But I also hope that whoever was driving that car gets charged as well for putting that baby in danger. You chose to flee from officers who had their pee-pees drawn with a one. You knew that there was a 1-year-old baby in the car, and you thought that it would be wise to flee from officers who have their pee-pees drawn. You put that baby in danger. Now, the courts may not be able to find anything to charge the driver with, but from a moral standpoint, the driver is just as guilty as the officers who discharged the pee-pees. The driver is just as guilty. Because you're black. Everybody in that car was black. Everybody in that car is black. Everybody in that car know how black people are treated by the police when we're non-compliant. You should have had common sense. You put that baby in danger. And that's the bottom line. And that's what the gist of what my live is about. Calling attention to our actions as black people that sometimes we cause things upon ourselves by how we're acting and what we're doing. And I don't need nobody to agree with me. I'm here to declare. That's why I'm not like letting anybody up, because I'm here to declare a thing. I don't need nobody to agree with me, because I already know that what I'm saying is solid and it's standard. It's solid and it is what it is. A lot of times we are causing things on ourselves by the way we're behaving. First of all, you ain't got no business stealing. Now, the mother has been clear. The mother has not been found to be stealing, but I'm talking about the person. Because why are you trying to get away from okay, so if you're not stealing, why are you fleeing from the police? Okay, so then if you're not stealing, that means that you have nothing to hide. Then why not correspond and engage with the police? Because I sure am. If I get accused, I don't steal. So if I get accused of stealing and police are hounding me or they want to talk to me, okay, yes, let's talk. Let's talk, because I have nothing to hide. Why are you running from the police? Apparently you were stealing and you were trying to get away to not be caught. This is crazy. This don't make no sense. The driver, that whoever was stealing was the one who deserved to be unalived. I'm sorry. I believe that they were injured, but they were the ones who deserved to be unalived as a result of their stupidity. This is crazy. We have to stop doing what we're doing. And I'm saying I'm saying we because I'm black, but I don't engage in this type of behavior. I don't steal from stores. I don't wear bonnets. I would never wear a bonnet on an interview. I'm sorry. That just lets me know, the ilk that she comes from. I'm sorry that you thought that it would make sense to wear a bonnet on an interview. You thought that that would actually help you to wear a bonnet while you're being interviewed. I'm so sick of the Black community. I'm so ready to disown. I'm tired of it. I've tried to work with the Black community. I've tried to help, but like there's no helping a certain subset of us. There's no helping a certain subset of us. And it's very frustrating, and I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience. This is ridiculous. I don't have the patience. Nobody wants to take accountability to say, hey, the actions of these people involved caused this. Yes, the officers are wrong, and I want them to get fired, to get charged. Absolutely. Absolutely. But at some point, we have to look in retrospect and analyze our behaviors. What could we have done different? What could we have done different? And the driver of that car should have complied. You should have complied. You should not have put a 1-year-old at risk. You should have complied. I'm sorry. She didn't care about nobody else in that car but her, whoever the driver was. Because I'm confident if you working that much overtime if you working that hard to get away from the police, you must have been stealing, because you knew that Walmart didn't have the authority to do a pat down, to pat you down or whatever, but the police sure could. So you working that hard to get away, you had to have been stealing, because no way you either had to be stealing or you just really dumb, because no way I'm going to be somebody who's not stealing and then flee from officers who have their people. If I put any amount of money that the person who was driving that car and was so pressed to get away from the officers with their guns drawn, they probably were on probation. They probably had a background. I would put any amount of money on that. I would put any amount of money on that's why they were so pressed to flee from those officers. They had a prior background, they're on probation, and they know good and dang well, oh, well, if these officers catch me, I'm going to have to back up that time that I'm on probation for. Like I said, you either guilty, if you that pressed and working that hard to run away from police, you either guilty or you just real dumb. Because if I'm not on probation, if I don't have any strikes against me, if I'm innocent and I haven't stolen anything, then I'm going to engage with the police. It gives me satisfaction so that I can prove you motherfuckers wrong. You think I'm in here stealing? You think I ain't got the means to be able to purchase what I have? Here you go. Let's shut this down. Let's shut this down and be done with it. I would bet any amount of money that whoever that is, and I hope that their identity gets revealed. Because if I was the mother, I'm giving you up. I'm giving you up because you the reason why my 1-year-old not here. Because you chose to put my child at risk running from the police. Because the mother had no knowledge. Well, actually, I can't even say that. I don't know what the mother knew in terms of when they went in that Walmart. I don't know what she knew, so I take that. I don't even know. I can't even say that. What I can say is if I was the mother, as that driver, I'm giving you up. I'm giving you up to the police, and I'm gonna ask for charges on you for recklessly endangering my child. You running away from the police while they have their pew-pews drawn, and you hit a car. In the midst of you backing up trying to get out of the spot to run from the police, you hit another car. That's a hit and run. You put my child at risk. You put my child at risk. I'm giving you up because you need to be charged. And that is what I'm simply calling upon the Black community to take accountability for this driver's actions. Nobody's saying that the officers are innocent. Absolutely not. They're guilty. At no point should you discharge your firearm into a vehicle that's fleeing. Get the license plate. Get other drivers. Do a high-speed chase. Follow them. Chase them down. Follow them to their home and then get a warrant for wherever home they've gone to. There's so many other things that could have been done. So the officers are not innocent. That's not what I'm saying. What I want the black community to admit is that the driver of that car also is not innocent and also needs to be implicated in this. And that the actions of us as a whole in the black community, the things that we have done to end up in some of these situations, we have caused on ourselves. We have caused it on ourselves by not complying with officers. Everybody wants to show the videos about people getting roughed up, getting beat up by officers, and in 90% of those cases, people is giving pushback and cussing and fussing at the officers or whatever, giving pushback and just being completely non-compliant. When we know that that's not going to serve our, even if the officer's behavior is unlawful, you know that as a black person. You already know how they get down. You already know how they get down. Why would you be dumb enough to not comply and then be the one ending up with the doo-doo end of the stick? That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't been reading the comments. Wait a minute. How was the black community responsible for what one person did or didn't do? So, Randy, so what I'm saying, because when the black community attack me when I say, hey, the driver put this baby at risk. Oh, no, they don't want to hear that. Oh, no. They don't want to hear how not complying with the officers as black people, we know that never works in our good. And we do this over and over and over again. We continue to think that it's going to come out in our favor if we are non-compliant with police. That's what I'm saying, Randy, because the entire black community attacks me when I call attention to this. They just want to keep the attention on the YT officers. And I'm saying, no, you pointing one finger, is three more pointing back at you. The driver of this car put that baby at risk. The officers are wrong, absolutely. But the driver of that car pushed the first domino. When you thought that it would be worthwhile to endanger this 1-year-old by fleeing from cops who already have their pew-pews drawn, you thought that would be smart. That's what I'm holding the black community accountable for, because they're all disagreeing with me, which is fine. I don't care, because it's really sad. It's really that's why only what they say, only 1%, the 1% of the elite hold all the wealth, while the rest of the 90-something% of us are broke, or or middle class, or just barely getting by, because not everybody has the wisdom that they need. Not everybody has the wisdom and the knowledge that they need in order to be able to thrive. It's crazy. I would have never, and there's no standard. That person who was driving was extremely selfish. They didn't care about the baby. They didn't care about nobody in that car. See, I'm the type of person, the moral standards that I have, that even if I, hypothetically, because I don't steal, hypothetically, type of morals that I have, it's kind of oxymoron. I wouldn't be stealing. But you do have some people who live that type of lifestyle, but they at least have some type of ethics for children. You got some type of people that, they might have known that they were stealing, but they would have given themselves up to save that baby. They would have given themselves up to not put that baby at risk. Whoever was driving that car didn't give a damn about the baby or anybody in that car.